The man casually flicked a cigarette butt. But what happened next made his blood run cold. The lawn reacted like it was alive, recoiling and dispersing in every direction. He blinked, barely believing his eyes. Was this some kind of supernatural phenomenon? Curious and unnerved, he reached down to touch the ground, only to realize the texture was off. To get to the bottom of it, he drove a metal stake into the earth. That's when he made a chilling discovery. It wasn't dirt at all. The ground. He called for his girlfriend Emily, and together they began digging, convinced something sinister was buried below. They toiled for hours under the blazing sun, but found nothing. Then, out of nowhere, a piercing, otherworldly shriek echoed from the sky. It was sharp, inhuman. Thinking a higher vantage point might offer answers, they set up a ladder. When Nick finally reached the rooftop, what he saw made his jaw drop. As far as the eye could see, identical houses stretched in every direction, perfectly aligned, like tombstones. Even the clouds above looked eerily artificial. He was stunned. What kind of place was this? It had all started months earlier, when Nick and Emily had visited a suburban real estate office, hoping to buy their first home together. The agent who greeted them had a strange vibe, but was incredibly enthusiastic. He claimed the houses, though located in a remote suburb, were luxurious villas, with friendly neighbors and an unbeatable price, just $500 per square foot, and a mere $5,000 down payment to move in immediately. For a couple struggling financially, it sounded like a dream. Without hesitation, they followed the agent to the neighborhood. But the moment they entered, something felt off. Every house was a carbon copy of the next. Strangely, not a single person was in sight. Soon, they reached House 9. Determined to stay optimistic, they toured the interior, which was fully furnished. Furniture, appliances, everything, all included for free. The offer seemed too good to be true. They stepped out into the backyard. Emily asked the agent why no other residents were around, but when they turned to hear his answer, he was gone. So was his car. Confused and uneasy, they decided to leave. But the nightmare was just beginning. Emily drove, trying to retrace their path, but the farther they went, the more disoriented they became. Every turn led them back to House 9. No signs, no landmarks, just endless repetition. Frustrated, Nick took over driving, but the outcome was the same. No matter which direction he went, they always ended up in front of the same house. Could they really be trapped in some kind of supernatural maze? They checked their phones. No signal. Still hopeful, Nick kept looking for a way out, searching until sunset. But the moment their gas ran out, the car rolled to a stop right in front of House 9. Exhausted and overwhelmed, they returned to the house for shelter. In the kitchen, they found a bottle of champagne and some strawberries in the fridge. Grateful but suspicious, they ate. Oddly, everything tasted like nothing, completely flavorless. They went to bed that night on edge, vowing to escape at first light. At dawn, Nick climbed to the roof again, desperate to find a clue, but all he saw was more of the same. Endless, identical homes stretching to the horizon. The entire community was a massive, inescapable labyrinth. Knowing they had to leave, they set off on foot, following the sun, hoping to break free. They walked until dusk, only to find themselves back at House 9. Then, Emily noticed something strange. Behind a wall, she saw a light. Thinking someone lived there, they rushed toward it, only to find the remains of the food they'd eaten the night before. They had somehow returned to the same house again. At the doorstep now sat a cardboard box filled with fresh food and supplies. It was like they were being watched, kept here deliberately, like lab rats in a controlled environment. Furious, Nick decided enough was enough. He pulled out a lighter and set the curtains ablaze, hoping the fire would lure out whoever was behind this. The house burned violently, but no one came. With nowhere else to go, they spent the night curled up on the curb outside. By morning, Emily discovered a new box at their door. Inside was a baby boy, along with a note: raise the child and you'll be granted freedom. Before they could even process what was happening, House 9, reduced to ashes just hours before, was standing there, completely intact. With no other choice, they began raising the child. But what followed was far from normal. In just 81 days, the infant grew into a 10-year-old boy. He copied their behavior and speech with unsettling precision. At night, he'd spy on them while they lay in bed, studying them with disturbing fascination. If he felt angry or hungry, he'd unleash a deafening, inhuman scream.